back with our sea Jasper. It's been a nemesis from the get-go. The rough was not quality, and we've been trying to work with it anyway. And when we say it's not quality, it's because it had an overabundance of large pitting that no amount of coarse grit has been able to remove. Things like this here. And you know, there's just more pitting everywhere on this stone, and it has been, I think, 6 weeks in 60-90. It's been a couple weeks in 120. Got busted back to 60-90, and now it's back in 120, and it's still not good. See, and it's just things like this. This is mostly quartz, but it's got issues. So without taking this entire barrel, I mean, every single piece has got something wrong with it. All right, 98% of it has a problem. Like, look at that. Because I'm tired of it and I don't want to tumble it anymore, I'm going to do wash cycles, and I'm going to move it forward to 500 just to deal with it. We already know this is not going to be a good batch of rough. Or, I mean, excuse me, a good batch of sea Jasper. I'm slowly wrapping my head around the fact that I can't fix everything, which is a disappointment. A disappointment. I'm going to, in the future, order another round from a different vendor of this Orbicular Jasper, because I really enjoy Orbicular Jasper. It's a nice piece. But I want it to come from a different line. So it might be called Ocean Jasper, it might be called Orbicular Jasper, but I will never order sea Jasper again. I just don't think that that particular area it's being mined in gives quality rough. And why go through all this time, trouble, and expense if it's not going to turn out to be the kind of stones that we want? So it is shaped. I knew I was going to drop that. Sorry. It's shaped well. It is smooth. It feels really good, except for the problems that we have not been able to get rid of. I do not want to take a Dremel tool to this and fix it. There are artificial ways to fix it, but I wanted to keep this a straight tumble. So we'll see sea Jasper next week after a couple wash cycles, and it's been through 500. Okay, we'll be right back. Sodalite. It has been running in 120 for 1 week. And let's take a look and see how it's doing. Beautiful, beautiful color. Oh my gosh, that is so smooth. Remember a couple weeks ago when I was complaining about how grainy the texture felt? 120 sure smooths it out. very happy with how it's shaped. Seems to be coming along nicely. Because it's a softer stone, I am not going to put it in 120 per second leak. I think we're going to move this right along to 500 based on what I'm seeing so far. Wow, it's really pretty. Feels nice. I could probably use another bit of time in 120. See, normally I would have kept that in 60-90 to smooth that out more, but because it's a softer stone, I'm nervous to do that. So I'm letting it go. I let it go to 120. I think that's the case with a lot of these. I just wanted to protect as much mass as I could because we've already lost so much. And that's really... has some fracture lines in there. And you can see there's still a tiny bit of a granular texture to it, but as it goes to 500, 1000, all that's going to get smoothed out. Now, if I had a vibratory tumbler, I would move this to a vibe, and it would spend a lot less time in the cycles, which would cause a lot less damage to the stones, but because we only have rotaries, we're going to baby it. With this experiment, we've been trying to do refine a process that would work for almost everything, and I think that was a little naive. I mean, it'll work for anything above 6.5 and higher. The process that we currently have is totally done in rotaries, but some of these softer stones, 5.5 and lower, they really do need a vibratory tumbler for the more intermediate and advanced tumbles. Very nice. Very pleased with these. And they're wet from the rinse cycle. This is not a shine. This is just the rinse. Yep, I'm going to continue this off camera. Make sure that there's no chips. Inspect the ceramic media. Make sure everything's looking good there. We're going to do several wash cycles, and then we're going to move this to 500. I feel really confident doing that. Oh. This Sodalite is so beautiful. It's like a royal blue. Oh no, that feels so rough. This is not moving forward. Oh, we're going to repair that. I think this one's my favorite piece so far. Yeah. Alright, Sodalite's moving forward. Oh no, there's a chip. which I think came off that other piece we had just a minute ago. Alright, let's make sure there's no more chips in the barrel. Because we know how dangerous that will be to the surface of the stones if it moves forward. Yeah, I would love to work those fracture marks out. It's really just this one here. I'm not all that happy with this particular stone. Yeah, definitely ready for 500. Alright, we'll wash cycles, check that ceramic media, look for more chips, and we'll be on with our next barrel. Okay, Sodalite. Really, really pretty. Rose Quartz. This had been on hold for a very long time, waiting for a barrel to open up that I could run some medium grit rose quartz, the 120-220 silicone carbide. So these are some very large pieces, and I'm so happy, especially with the really deep pink color that we have here. These are shaped beautifully. I'm so incredibly happy with this rose quartz. Whoops, this rose quartz. There is a little bit of a fracture line eroding on this piece. And if I'm going to do anything with it, this is the time to do that. So I am going to set it aside for the flat lap. Run a little bit on here to get rid of that, because the rest of this piece is so beautiful. So that goes to the flat lap. These are some just huge, huge pieces. Wow. I'm wondering if this, I'm definitely going to put this in one more week for the 120, just because it has little tiny erosion fracture lines happening on here that I'm hoping the 120 will smooth out a little bit more. So just wow. Yeah. I think maybe they could have even stayed in 60-90 an extra week, but we really wanted to move this stuff forward, and we wanted to see if the 120 was going to do its job. And while they feel beautiful, I should say they look beautiful, I'm feeling little tiny spots on here. And it's making me wonder, why did this go to 120? It's almost like every single piece could just have like half a second on, or a minute on the flat lap to get rid of just the tiny little parts and then move it forward. A couple of these are ready for 500. I think I'm going to let them run in 120 another week, just because I want to get these little tiny problems handled before they move forward to 500. We're going to have a really busy week on that flat lap. Okay, we'll be right back. Apatite. It has been running 1 week in our medium grade silicone carbide grit, the 120-220. The slurry was super thick, so I was really terrified we had lost all of our mass. But it's feeling so much better than last week. Does have, we did find a couple chips in the ceramic media, so I'm a little concerned about the condition we have here. Let's see what we can do about the color. Yeah. All of a sudden it got really dark in here. Feels delightful. Not so much. But a lot of that's happening from erosion. And now this is a soft stone, which means it's going to cause us all kinds of problems. And as we saw last week, we broke a lot of pieces in our hand because of the fracture lines and whatnot. And so I was very nervous about moving forward with this project in a rotary tumbler. So these stones are not as perfect as I would normally try to get them, because they're going to wear away to nothing. So I'm going to give them a really good wash with a little, little Dawn soap and dish soap and some and a toothbrush. I'm going to scrub them really good, make sure we get all the grit off of it. Do a couple wash cycles, send them through to 500, and we'll see them next week. We just we're going to rerun Apatite once we get our vibratory tumbler. They are sold out everywhere, and I'm on back order. So I'm going to rerun this in the future, but I want to continue this batch just so that we can have a really good experiment. We can have a comparison of what happens, or how the final product turns out with blue Apatite done strictly in the rotary tumbler versus using a rotary and a vibratory. Okay, we will be back with our next barrel. And we're back with our last barrel in medium, which is our 120-220 silicone carbide grit. We have been running mostly red Aventurine, but we needed enough to fill this 4-pound barrel. So we added some other Aventurines that were ready for medium. And we've got them all separated out here. And in the rinse cycle, when I put all the stones back into the barrel to bring over here for the inspection, we broke a stone. So no matter how careful you are, breaks happen. So this cannot obviously continue in the medium stage. It has to go back to 60, 90 to get those out of it. So we're going to set those aside. I've gone through all the ceramic media to make sure that there was no other chips or damage or anything in there, and it looks really good. So yay there. This barrel was really well cushioned. So to have that break happen, it was because some larger stones knocked it at the right spot, and thank goodness it was just at the last bit of before I got it ready to go forward again. I am losing my words today. Okay, red Aventurine. We also have some purple, and that was a purple one that had broken. This one here is purple. So, yeah. Just yikes. So let's get that set aside so it doesn't contaminate the rest of this batch. What we need to determine is if this needs another week in medium or if these stones are ready to move forward to 500. So we have a lot to get through because it's a really big barrel. Our green, we only have one piece of green. And it looks like it could move forward to 500. Here's some blue Aventurine. Oh, that's just lovely. That can move forward. You can see it, but you can't feel it. It's like nails on a chalkboard. These stones are drying so quickly. Give them another little squirt here in case I missed any slurry. Let's see. Oh god, this yellow is wonderful. It's like butter or pineapple chunks. Take your preference. I think it's getting to be dinner time. I'm getting hungry. Oh yeah. This yellow Aventurine and that blue and that one piece of green are definitely moving forward to 500. Yeah, beautiful. Then we've got some peach in here as well. Looks very similar to the red. Oh wow. I'm just always surprised of how little time stones require in the 120 stage. It seems like they spend forever in stage 1 in medium or in a course, and then like a week in stage 2. I'm not complaining, I'm just really surprised. This almost looks like a flower agate. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to finish this peach and purple off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the red Aventurine. Okay, be right back. Red Aventurine, 1 week in medium, and it is really looking lovely. looks like little tiny cubes of meat. Little tiny cubes of meat that's ready to move to 500. So out of all the other colors that were in this medium barrel of Aventurine, there was only like 4 or 5 pieces that needed another 120. So we're at 95% ready to move forward to 500. And since we have so much running in Quartz, I think we'll just take out those couple of pieces that need the 120 and hold it till the other barrel catches up and run it with those. Because all of these are looking gorgeous and ready to run to 500. So it'll get several wash cycles, 4 or 5, and then yeah, and then this is ready to move forward. Whew. Amazing. Beautiful Aventurine. Oh, we're losing our focus. Okay, I think that's it for Red Aventurine for this week. I'm going to continue this off camera to keep these videos shorter. And anything that needs to stay in 120, I'm going to set aside, like I said earlier. And most of this is going to get wash cycles and move to 500. These are drying fast today. Okay, I'll finish these off camera. And now we will be back with our barrels in 500. And we're back with our only barrel that is in 1000 aluminum oxide pre-polish. And this is our yellow Aventurine from the split batches we had been running forever. Let's dry it just a little bit. It's got a nice matte sheen, nice shine happening already, but it's only been in pre-polish, so we need to do some wash cycles. We need to send it to polish, and we're going to do the wet polish because this is a hard enough stone to handle it. These are feeling like glass. They're beautiful, just lovely. No chipping. All the bruising that well, see, I said that too soon. Or is that slurry? No, it was bruising. We had some bruising, so we had busted this back and sent it forward again. Most of the bruising's gone. I think it needs a little bit more cushioning when it goes into polish. But we had just a lot of bruising that had happened before. As you can see, as the stone dries, all of this here. Now, I was hoping that sending it back to 500 would be enough to get rid of that bruise line, but I'm afraid we would probably have to send it back to 120 to grind a layer of, to grind this off. And I really just don't want to. But if I don't, it's gonna polish. Oop. Right, these things are so slip. I always hit the tripod. All right, moment of truth. What are we gonna do here? As they're drying off, more and more of that bruising is showing. And I'm afraid if I just go ahead and polish these just to be done with them, that we're never going to be happy because of the bruising. I really don't want this to go back to 120. Because then would be like 3 weeks out before this was available to be polished. It has to go through all the other stages to get the surface ready. Oh, goodness. Oh. Sometimes this happens. And I wasn't careful enough. I didn't have enough cushioning to prevent this from happening, and I did not bust this back far enough in the grit stages, excuse me, in the grit stages in order to fix the problem. So this is like a lesson learned. I do not want to send this to polish. I do not want to polish bruise marks. Excuse me. All of that's bruising. So I am going to send this back as a repair. The second, now that I've made up my mind that it's going back for repair, the second question is, do I put it in my barrels that are already running in those stages? And I'm going to say no. Because this is going to be a lesson learned, and because we are going to want to see, you know, how you repair them, I don't want to mix in with a bunch of other stones so that we don't remember which one needed it and which one didn't. So we will continue this by itself in the small 1.5 pound barrel, and we're going to bust it back to 120 to fix the bruising. It just makes me sick, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, because it's going backwards, not forwards, we do not need to run a wash cycle, so I can just recharge the barrel for 120 right now and let it go. I am, however, going to switch out the ceramic media because I do like to keep my 500 media separate, my aluminum oxide separate from the silicone carbide. And then we have 1 barrel left to get through this week, and that's our polish barrel. Okay. Tough decision, tough lesson learned. Okay, be right back. Okay, we're back with our polish barrel this week. It's a mixed MOHS 7 that we've been running to Catchup. Let's see what we've got in this barrel. Let's just put several pieces in this water. Let's see what kind of a shine we're getting. Oof. This has been sitting for a while today. Okay, let's just see what we've got here. This is that brown chocolate zebra Jasper, and it is perfect. What a lovely shine. Now obviously these are going to need a burnish cycle. Here's a piece of agate. The towel's really wet. Ooh. Really pretty, beautiful shines. Another piece of kababa because we've got that everywhere. Drier piece of paper towel. This is golden quartz, sometimes called healer quartz. Oh, that's just beautiful. Look at that shine. And here's that Sodalite Jasper we were watching. Ooh, beautiful. Remember, we had talked about this side of the stone. Now it's got that iron in it, and that will never polish up. It can cause undercutting, but we got really lucky. But this side is just spectacular. Oh, is that blue lace? Let's get a piece of blue lace. Now all the stones in this barrel is a MOHS Hardness 7, so they should be able to tumble well together, and as we've seen, they do. These were just bits and pieces left over from earlier runs that we were able to finally do a catch-up. Oh wow. Really pretty color in that blue. There's a piece of smoky quartz. Woo. Beautiful. I apologize for all these barrels you hear running in the background, but when we've got 12, we don't hold them for videos, we let them run. A lot of wash cycles going on. There's another piece of agate. Wow, look at how clear that is. Lovely surface. You can see right down into the stone. How thin those lines are. Let's see what else we can pull out here. There's so much in here. Now these do feel a tiny bit sticky, and once they go through a burnish cycle, that will be removed. Just gorgeous. All right, let's get all these out of the polish. We'll do a quick photo of all of them, and then we'll send them to the burnish cycle, which lasts about a day, and then we'll get final photos. And at that point, we'll have another barrel open. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, these are all ready to go into a burnish cycle. They're still a little damp from the rinse coming out of the polish barrel. We have some Botswana agate, Sodalite Jasper, more Baba Jasper, a piece of polychrome, clear quartz, blue lace agate, smoky quartz, golden quartz, one piece of chrysoprase, and all of that is the super Jasper. So it's all going to go back in the barrel and get a burnish cycle, and it'll be done tomorrow. Fantastic. Okay, you guys have a great week.